Hi guys, welcome to this evening's Ag predictions for Tuesday the 26th of September. If you've been following us over the recent few days, we've had a few okay wins. We are, as I say on the Twitter page, put on that we are 40% in profit for the last 3 days. So if you've been following all the tips, you would have been, you'd have been well in profit so far. So that's all good. Let's hope this evening carries on that way. So this evening we have games in both the Champions League and the domestic English leagues as well. The leagues outside of the Premier League, so Championship, League 1 and League 2. And that's where we're going to be looking for our picks for this evening. So let's dive straight in. So the first game is Apoel Nicosia home against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Apoel are not having the best of form at the moment in time domestically. They have failed to score in their last 2 games, including a loss at home as well. And yeah, the current Cypriot champions are not having the best of times. Now, in their previous game in the Champions League, they did lose 3-0 to Real Madrid, which, you know, away from home is probably not too shabby. But to say Real Madrid are probably not in the best of forms at the moment in time as well, so probably caveat with that. One thing that seems quite apparent with Apoel is they're not really very big goal scorers and do seem to win a lot of the games that they do win by sort of an odd goal, 2-1, 1-0, etc. So welcoming a very sort of attacking and certainly away from home rampant Spurs is probably not something that they'll be looking forward to. So yeah, getting onto Spurs. I think home form is well documented at the moment in time at Wembley, etc. But away from home, they're on fire at the moment in time, and finding the net 6 goals in their last 2 away games, West Ham and Everton. Harry Kane's well amongst the goals now as well, and as we know, he always has quite a dry August, and but he's certainly making up for that in September so far. And yeah, the way the games went early on. With Spurs beating Borussia Dortmund and Apoel losing away at Real Madrid. If Spurs can get a good win here, it could potentially put them at the top of the table with Real and Dortmund playing each other in Dortmund as well. So it'd be a big giant step forward for Spurs and qualification. I think they're really fighting it out with Dortmund for that second place in the group. So I think the first pick we're going to go for is Spurs away at Apoel. So next we stay in the Champions League into Group F, which is we see Napoli at home against Feyenoord. Now, Napoli are again a team bags full of attacking talent, scoring plenty of goals, 13 in their last 3 games domestically, which includes a 4-1 romp away at Lazio. Champions League didn't start off too great actually, a bit of a say surprise defeat away at Shakhtar, but I was fully expecting them not to get beat. Shakhtar are a good team and in good form and are really going to trouble City, I think, tonight as well. Hence why I've not put City on this ACCA. Not that I don't fancy City to win, but Shakhtar are a decent team. But getting back to Napoli domestically, they've started the season 100% record. They've won all their games so far and are looking in fine form. And obviously with Insigne and Mertens and Callejon and Hamsik, etc., they've got plenty of attacking threats in there. So Feyenoord on the other hand have had quite a sort of sticky run, especially domestically as well. They've lost the last 2 games. Absolute massive defeat at home against NAC Breda the other day. That's the first time NEC have actually beaten Feyenoord, I think in the last 20 games. And yeah, it was an absolute shock. Feyenoord do have injuries though at the moment in time. Quite a few of their key players are out injured, and I think that will really sort of affect them. They out of their last 4 games, they've only scored 2 goals, and that was in the cup as well at home against Den Haag. So the last 2 league games they haven't scored, and they also got beat 4-0 at home against Man City. So Feyenoord unfortunately showing going through a bit of a bad run of form at the moment in time, and I think going to Napoli is probably one of the last things that they would have wanted in what is already a very, very strong group. This was probably the group that I think is very tough to call who the top 2 are going to be outside outside of final. I think it's the Napoli, Shakhtar, and Man City for those two places. So yeah, I think Napoli will go out and get that win tonight. So the next game we go domestic into the English Championship, and it sees us Bristol City at home against Bolton. Now, people probably say I'm bashing Bolton a little bit too much, but it's just too easy at the moment in time, if I'm honest. They have now gone 6 games without scoring a goal, which is bad. And as I mentioned in my last prediction, which I finally tipped Brentford to win a game after I kept telling you for weeks and weeks they would win, and they did finally win away at Bolton. That Bolton just can't score. Just don't really have much of a cutting edge or threat. But then again, as I said last season in League One, didn't really pose much of an attacking threat. It was their defence and the goals they got from set pieces that sort of really saw them over the line. And unfortunately, you know, whether it's due to lack of funds, etc., probably at the club, Phil Parkinson's not really addressed that problem. And that's probably in contrast to Bristol City, who are, you know, got plenty of goals, and especially at home. Bobby Reid obviously has chipped in with quite a lot of goals from midfield as well. So yeah, they're scoring goals from sort of all over the park as well, Bristol City. And I think the last time the clubs met last year, Bristol City stuck 6 goals past them. So yeah, so as I say, I can't really see anything else but a Bristol City home win in this one. So next we drop into League One, and we're looking at Bradford City at home against Fleetwood. So it's Bradford we're going to be going for the win against. They've had a real tricky set of fixtures in September. Played a lot of the teams who are going to be challenging at the top of the table, and have come out with 4 wins and a draw. And one of those draws was 2-2 away at Oxford. So yeah, so they've beaten Rotherham 1-0, won away at Peterborough 3-1, beat Bristol Rovers 3-1 as well. So they've had a good month, and then they went away to Northampton and won 1-0 as well. And that's probably on the back of a real good solid defence, but they are starting to sort of find their net as well in games, and as we know, that's a real recipe for success. Fleetwood, on the other hand, have conceded 8 goals out in their last 2 games against Southend and Portsmouth, and yeah, what was a promising start to the season is slowly starting to sort of fade away, and Uwe Rosler's men are certainly letting in goals, and even when they were on good runs, they've been conceding pretty much all season. 2 goals against Oldham, 2 goals against Bury, 2 teams who are, you know, near the foot of the table and struggling for points themselves. 4 against Portsmouth, 4 against Southend, who were bang out of form until they sort of played Fleetwood. So yeah, Fleetwood is not probably a good place to be at the moment in time. So yeah, fully expecting Bradford to pick up that 3 points today. Next we stay in League One with Wigan at home against Plymouth, and yeah, Wigan surprising defeat at the time. It looked when they lost to Wigan, to Shrewsbury at the start of the month. But actually, where Shrewsbury started the season unbeaten, top of the table, there's only them and the 2 Manchester clubs unbeaten in England at the moment in time. So yeah, probably not look too much into that one. But yeah, they followed that up with 3-0 wins against Bristol Rovers and Charlton, and then beat Northampton as well. But on Saturday they did go to high-flying Peterborough. Were in the lead, but unfortunately was on the wrong side of 2 cracking goals from Maurice of Peterborough, and yeah, ended up losing that one 3-2. But I'm not looking too much into that, because at home so far this season they've been pretty strong with 3 wins and a draw so far. Plymouth, well, I didn't really expect Plymouth to struggle this season when they came up. I fully thought that they would carry that momentum into the season, and especially at home would be quite strong. But it's been probably the opposite of that so far. They've had an absolute nightmare start to the season, really struggling for goals. They're conceding, 3 goals, 4 goals in games now. It's a real bad start for them at this moment in time. And I'm sure Derek Adams is scratching his head of what he needs to do, but I'm sure he wouldn't have picked a trip to Wigan as the next game. So I think with Wigan's good form at the moment in time, and Plymouth's frailties and low on confidence, I think Wigan should get the home win there. Now, next game is in League 2, and we are having Wycombe home against Crewe. So we're going for the Wycombe home win, and yeah, Wycombe, the team with the with the very experienced strike force up there. You know, Mikhail Smith, Akim Fenwar, and Nathan Tyson have all been there and done that all around the lower leagues in recent years. And yeah, it's just, you know, it's a great combination there of pace, you know, power, trickery, etc. And yeah, I think that's really going to sort of pay off for them. And it was a good win on Saturday away at Colchester. They'd not won in 3 games, a couple of draws in there at Mansfield and away at Newport, and lost at home against Luton. So, you know, they played a lot of the sort of the teams again who were going to be challenging at the right end of the table. They did win the sort of previous home game to that against Forest Green 3-1. And yeah, in general, they've had a bit of an up and down season, but they've sort of had a decent September. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. And yeah, as I fully expect, Wycombe will be at the right end of the table. Crewe, well, lost 5-0 at home against Carlisle. Not many people probably saw that one coming. I'm not saying they probably didn't see a Carlisle win coming, maybe, or a draw, but to concede 5 goals at home is an absolute disaster. Following that up by conceding 3 against Exeter the week before. They've actually gone 3 games now without scoring a goal and conceded 9 goals. Yeah, and obviously Crewe, obviously famous for bringing through the younger kids, etc. Really sort of struggling at this moment in time, and yeah, unfortunately, Crewe are probably not looking forward to a trip to Wycombe, a place where they lost 5-1 last season as well. So I'm fully expecting Wycombe to get that win there. So if that's where you want the Uraka to stop, that is going to pay 9-1. So that's 9-1 for the 6-team accumulator. However, if you want a little bit more value, there's a couple more games I've sort of picked out for you that you could potentially put on. It's entirely up to you as well. And I'll quickly go through those for you as well. So that is Millwall at home against Reading. Now, Millwall have been quite strong at home recently. Very strong defensively as well, not conceding many goals. But also obviously managing to bag a few as well at the other end. So Millwall are just starting to sort of find their feet in the Championship as well, and got a very good draw away at Preston North End and beat Leeds 1-0 as well. The probably two of the best form teams at the moment in time in the Championship. They've took 4 points off them and not conceded a goal, so that's pretty impressive stuff. Reading, after last year's heartache and playoff final defeat, as I've said I think a couple of times on a few of these videos, I'm not fully expecting them to be challenging for the playoffs this season. They've lost Williams and Al Abs, who I think are massive losses, probably their 2 best players outside of Kirmington last season, and yeah, I don't think they've adequately replaced them. And yeah, the games are usually very tight, but they just don't seem to have much of a goal threat going forward at the moment in time. I'm expecting Millwall to carry that good home form on with a win here. So into League One for the next extra game, if you want to pop them in, is Southend home against Wimbledon. Now, Southend were a team who were tipped to do well this season. They have been in and around the playoffs now for a couple of seasons, and Phil Brown's men finally got the season probably underway with a cracking 4-2 win away at Fleetwood Town, including the goal-scoring return of the naughty boy Niall Ranger, who came up with a cracking celebration, shall we just say. Might want to Google that and have a look at it following his misdemeanours earlier on. But yeah, so that was a good morale-boosting win. And goals haven't sort of been hard to come by for sort of Southend. It's been sort of at the other end, and yeah, I think if they can sort of tighten that up, I think Southend will start sort of climbing the table. Wimbledon are a funny team really so far this season. Again, a team who are sort of lacking goals. Probably a real demoralising defeat at home against bitter rivals Milton Keynes. Dare I say the word Dons at the end of it. Wimbledon were keen to leave that out of their matchday programme. If you don't know the history between the two clubs, it's probably worth a little Google again for people who are probably not based in this country. So yeah, so that wasn't probably the best of preparations, and yeah, they've lost sort of 3 out of their last 5 games, so it's not good prep going into a game against a Southend team. We were going to be buoyed by that 4-2 win against Fleetwood, so I'm going to go with a good win there for Southend. And their last game really to boost it up is Cambridge. who are playing at home against Forest Green Rovers. So yeah, so if it's not with Forest Green, there's sort of the new boys in the league. They've had a horrendous September so far. They've lost 4 out of 5 games, and their only point was away to fellow strugglers Port Vale, who recently sacked their manager as well. So they're just conceding way too many goals. And at the start of the season, they were also scoring plenty of goals, but now that seems to have dried up as well. So that is a recipe for real disaster. So the sooner they can sort of keep it out of one end and start scoring again, it's not going to get any better, unfortunately. Cambridge United have won their last 2 home games as well against a very good Coventry team and a Colchester team again who are expected to challenge for the playoffs. Away form's not so great at the moment in time, but they're pretty solid at home and don't concede many goals as well, which is always a bonus. So against the Forest Green team who are quite sort of porous at the back, that might probably be a good thing. So I'm going to go with Cambridge to beat Forest Green in that last game. So as I say, we can go with the original 6 at 9-1, but if you want to add those 3, it boosts it nicely up to 76-1 as well. So that might be worth a little dabble, or you might want to pick and choose those other 3 teams to put in or take out. It's entirely up to you. But until the next one, guys, take care.